Convo with Sidewalker Daily, and in today's video I want to talk about pitching mistakes that influencers make when they're trying to work with brands. Now, this video is really important because a lot of the times there's mistakes that you guys are doing that are so easily fixable. I just recently got off of a coaching call with an influencer that I've been working with for the past month, and she's been really frustrated that she's not seeing results. And when I understood why she wasn't seeing those results, her pitching strategies were just way off. So I was like, okay, I need to make a video because we really need to clean up shop. That's literally, you'll hear me say that all the time to my coaching, to my students. I'm like, we need to clean up. So let's get into it. So the first mistake that I see a lot of influencers or content creators doing when they're pitching is copying and pasting the same email. Now, there's one thing is having an email template that you want to work off of when you're pitching to brands. Of course, why would you write the email every time the same? But copying and pasting an email and just swapping out the person's name is not the way to go. Or, just the hotel's name or the brand's name or whatever. It doesn't feel, think about being on the other side. First of all, a lot of times we can tell on the brand side that you guys are sending the same email because the formatting will look off and doesn't feel customized. It doesn't feel personal. If you guys are new to our channel, I actually worked with tons of brands on their influencer campaigns. So I'm the one receiving that pitch. While I also coach and work with influencers, I've been on that brand side and I've seen all those mistakes. So getting those emails that are not customized or personalized, at least including a blurb that makes it feel like you did your research or you're making it, personal. I can't tell you how far that goes. And with that said, a mistake that kind of stems from that is, I guess, formatting and not checking spell check or just grammar issues. Now, I know that may seem intuitive to some of you, but I can't tell you the amount of pitches I've seen that have just grammatical errors or spell mistakes. I mean, if the email to me is sloppy, I tell the people I coach this all the time. Whatever you do, because you're trying to be your own brand and you are trying to be a public figure, is a reflection of your brand. So if your emails are sloppy, I see it as a sign of you being sloppy. And if you're sloppy, then why would I trust you with my brand or a sponsored post? Again, if you come in polished and everything is you crossed your T's and dotted your I's, I know that you're going to do the same for me. And again, those are subconscious things that people on the brand side think. We're not going to want to work with someone who doesn't have a polished pitch. I think part of not having a polished pitch is, also hyperlink errors, or when you say you're going to attach something, but you don't, or you included a hyperlink, but when you click it, it opens to a dead page. Simple little housekeeping that can just, shave off, that you can just fix and get your pitch to be way more presentable. The other tip that I would have is, I guess, with timing. Timing is really important when it comes to pitch, and it's a mistake a lot of you guys will do. It's a fine balance finding the right time to send a pitch. If you're a travel influencer and you're looking for travel, you're definitely going to have to give enough notice. Reaching out 2 weeks before is a no. Also knowing, is it high season? Is it low season? Is there a holiday around the corner? I used to work with a hotel and we would get pitches 4th of July weekend. It's no, we're not going to host people on 4th of July weekend. That makes no sense. We're at capacity already. So timing and considering the timeline of your pitch is also something to consider. It's not that they don't want to work with you. It may just be the timing of when you sent your pitch. I think another mistake that I often see is pitching prematurely. Now, I obviously believe in the saying, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, which means if you don't pitch, you don't know. But that also comes with its own responsibility. You have to be ready for that pitch. If you don't have your media kit yet, or, your Instagram or your blog, or you don't have these things published yet, then you're just pitching too early. You want to make sure you have everything on the back end ready. Now, this shouldn't be a hurdle to start your pitching. I don't want to set up roadblocks, but again, if you're I think a media kit is just a bare minimum of giving a brand, a quick visual view of who you are. And if you don't have that ready, you're missing an opportunity, because a lot of times, first impressions are everything. Another big mistake I see far too often is not contacting the right person. So I'll give you an example. This young photographer I work with, he is a client on an ongoing basis. We do multiple coaching calls, and he was showing me his pitches as part of like our session. And I saw that like all the emails were going to like this hello email. And I was like, why aren't you finding out, exactly who this person is that we're pitching to? Like, can't we find the marketing director? Can't we get an email? He was like, well, how do I do that? So we talked about different tools. There's Rocket Reach. That's a tool that helps you find people on LinkedIn by using like their LinkedIn URL. You're able to like find their email. Then, we discussed other strategies like just calling, and getting those right emails help his open rates soar. Like, people were just not responding because they weren't seeing it, versus getting those intros. And those are things that, it all is a case by case depending on where you are, but not contacting the right person is definitely a big mistake that influencers are doing in their pitching strategies. Another huge mistake I try to get my coaching students to veer away from is using the word collaborate so vaguely. So if you're pitching to a brand and you're taking all this time to write the perfect email and you're just saying, I'd love to collaborate with you, you may be shooting yourself in the foot, because collaborate is a word that I think we all hide behind. We don't really come forward and say what we want. Would you like to meet up with them for a coffee, to have a meet and greet? Would you like, to work with them in a paid capacity? Are they looking for videographers or photographers? Like, what is it that you want versus collaborate? Now, if you just are trying to get on their radar, you can say that. You can say, I just wanted to, when you're pitching, you can say, this email is really just to introduce myself. But again, there's a goal. It's to introduce yourself. And coming to a brand with an idea, I love that, rather than just being like vague and collaborate, saying, I recently saw XYZ, and you kind of come with them with a vision, right, of what this idea could look like. And then you try to, get them on a call to further explain. That could go a really long way. And on the flip side, another mistake is giving too much information. So you don't want to give your life story away in a pitch, and you don't want them to be lengthy and include lots of information that just isn't necessary. Again, like, I think having a coach that you can work with on your pitch is super helpful, because we can just like narrow it down and cut all the fat. But if you can't if you can't work with us in that capacity, then take this tip and cut the fat. Try to make it as lean as possible, because you don't want to overtell. I think another mistake a lot of influencers make is they use Instagram as the front door to their business. They're like, okay, here's my Instagram handle. And then they expect people on the brand side to just scroll and look. Now, while we'll do that anyways, I think Instagram really isn't the front door to your business. It's your website. And if you don't have a website, you can just build out a really simple landing page that kind of tells people about you. I think that's also really important, like the different services that you can do, show your work. I mean, on Instagram, you'd have to click each photo to read the caption. And I think that from the brand side, while we definitely always look at your Instagram, I think having your website is probably a better approach to show your professionalism. So definitely a mistake is just only relying on Instagram to open the doors. Now, while that's worked for a lot of people, those people tend to have like really big influences and big numbers, and people on the brand side sometimes, unfortunately, love those vanity metrics. We're trying to gear people on the brand side away from that, but hey, it happened. And lastly, if you made it this far in this video, then you're in luck, because this is my favorite tip, and it's a mistake that I see a lot of people do, and it's easily fixable. So rather than just pitching to new people and always being on the hunt for new partners and new sponsors and all that, why not go to people you've already worked with and build out those relationships? So I call this, the one night stand approach, is when you're just constantly looking for the new fling, versus deep, relationship building with people who have already worked with you. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean paid. Just because, there's brands that I'm sure you've received free stuff from. Those people have already vetted you and they already want to work with you. So depending on your, negotiation tactics and your pitch, I think that's what I call like a warm lead, because they've already interested in you. So it's just getting them to take that extra step. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be reaching out to new business, absolutely. But in marketing, we'll call this like acquisition versus retention. So acquiring new business versus retaining the old. It's a fine line. And I think it really depends on like your bottom line. I think a lot of influencers, when they work on retaining, these looking at brands that they've worked with more as like clients and people that they can do longer term relationships with, it's such a better idea, because it's just it's a stream of revenue, of income for them that's more stable. And in this industry, things tend to be a little all over the place. So you want to do tactics that are going to help stabilize your business. So hopefully you guys liked this video. I'll include links to our coaching in the description. If you guys have any specific questions, we can go over it. And I hope to see you in the next video.